Welcome to Made in Walker, the podcast that connects you to the people, the stories, and the ideas shaping our community. From local innovators to everyday change makers, we're diving deep into what makes Walker a great place to live, work, and grow. Here's your host, Nicole DiDonato.
Well, thank you for joining us for the Made in Walker podcast. Today, we're sitting down with State Representative Carol Glanville, who oversees the 84th District, and that includes the city of Walker. But of course, Representative Glanville is no stranger to the city of Walker. You were actually a city commissioner with us. So first of all, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and be part of the conversation. You know, as you mentioned, I live in Walker, and I've lived here for I don't even know how long anymore, 20 some, I don't know, 12, 13, I don't know, long time.
Yes, enough to know the area a bit. So.
Yeah.
Yes, and how do you think, starting out with a city commission has really prepped you for your journey to Lansing and beyond? Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm really grateful to have had that experience. Yeah. I mean, I had some experience in educational leadership, but having that local government leadership opportunity and experience before going to the state really helped kind of transition my skill set in leadership. Yes. And some of the opportunities I had as a city commissioner, being named to the Waste to Energy Committee at the county, being a part of the Mineral Mining Review Board, among other committees here, helped me to learn about some of the issues that are now really front and center for us at the state in terms of sustainability, what we're doing with waste, pollution runoff, water quality, all of that. Yeah. Alongside some of the challenges we have with road funding and the asphalt. And so that's the mining piece that, Walker has been a part of for decades. Yes. So it really helped me in some interesting ways that I wasn't expecting.
Sure. And what was it that, finally wanted to, you making that next step to go as a state representative? What was like the motivation or the catalyst?
Well, I really just wanted to make sure that Walker had some variety in its representation. We, were represented by really one party for quite a long time. And so I just felt it was a good time to step in and help expand, what we're doing as the city is growing to make sure that we have all the voices in place. And having been a part of the Walker Trails group, even prior to commission, again, I knew that there were there were interests that we could easily bring together and that I might be able to be a catalyst to do that. And it turns out that I have. So pleased to be in that role.
Yeah, it's wonderful. We'll get to a couple of those in a moment. But as far as, you're meeting with a lot of folks in, the district within Walker, what are some of the concerns that they're bringing to you?
Traffic.
Yeah, okay. Didn't even have to think about that one.
I mean, and you live in Walker, so you know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, as a growing community, traffic is a real challenge for us, which is interesting because, the Grand Rapids area is, it's the number one growing area in the state, where many other areas are, shrinking. Grand Rapids is really just dynamic and exciting. And so being on the, 10 minutes from downtown, and we're developing more and more. So traffic is something that I hear a lot about. And other than that, people are excited about public spaces. The trails, we're excited to be adding onto the trail project at the Fruit Ridge Bridge. So that we're finally going to have that connection of our three primary bike trails here. And so I think that piece is something else that folks are real excited about.
Yes. And for years, I know that Senator Huizenga and Mayor Carey had lobbied for money to get that Fruit Ridge Bridge replaced. Yep. You were integral with that as well. How does that feel now, seeing it come to life? And, of course, we got some growing pains as we're going through construction, but just knowing that it's under repair.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic, And let me just say, I am right there with everybody who's going through the growing pains because I have to drive around that every single day. So I feel you. Yeah. But no, it's just great. And whenever I talk to people about the design of the bridge and how it's going to include some pedestrian and bike access, they are just thrilled. So it's the right, it's the right improvement at the right time. Could have come a little sooner, but like I said, it took the three of us to really bring it to fruition. And so, again, it just shows how when we have, a variety of folks in the right places, we can get really good things done.
Yeah, very helpful. We're grateful for that. And yes, we all understand we're all going through it together.
Yes.
But it'll be so worth it. Of course, you had mentioned this before, Walker is growing, more families wanting to come in. We're seeing a lot of businesses open up. What are some things being done in Lansing that could hopefully, benefit our community here?
Yeah, well, we're working on a number of different incentives for housing, and also, like I said, we're working on these roads plans and some other things that will trickle down. Of course, we're always looking at education, which is a huge, passion of mine, and so the quality of education that we're offering our kiddos and our families, to the extent that we can keep that going and growing, I think is super important for our area as well. Again, as we are, we used to be sort of, when I was a kid growing up in this area, Walker was really a rural outpost. Honestly.
Yes.
And so to really see where we are today and to know, the importance of our schools in that role and the importance of how, we support our small businesses, that's been a really big initiative of mine too, is to be very thoughtful in talking to and advocating for our small businesses.
And what kind of drives you? Education, you have a big background in that, as you said, small businesses as well. What is that kind of motivation?
Yeah, well, as an educator, that was my career prior to going into the legislature, and it's just that piece of being able to give back to my community. It's like servant leadership. I'm just always motivated by who can I connect, what good ideas can we pull together, work on together, move forward together. And so that piece of being a voice in my community that can help make those things happen is what motivates me. I just really enjoy that part of the job.
Yes. And, hoping to maybe see the next level of representatives coming up or, emerging leaders, what kind of advice or insight do you have for them as far as, maybe taking that step to represent your community? And I know it's needed at a local level.
Oh, so. Sure. No, I think, the thing that we really need to leave partisanship aside. And so when I talk to people, I try to lead with the same way that I lead. And that is really listening to, honestly, listening to everybody. I know you hear that a lot in politics, but I am one of those people who really does that. And again, that goes back to my education background and having to work with administrators and parents and teachers and kids. Like everybody has their point of view, and we really need to be listening to each other, and then coming up with the best solution we can for the common good or for the most. And so that's one thing is really and to be engaged. We don't have local media like we used to. And so I think it's challenging for people to make that effort to know what's going on. And it is so important, particularly at the local and state level. Clearly what happens at the federal level is important, but I think many people miss how much what we do locally and at the state really impacts your life on a much more granular level, more personal and immediate level. So just being engaged.
Yes. And, kind of along those lines is what do you think people can either learn or what do they maybe not know that is going on in Lansing that you're working on behalf of that they don't see kind of behind closed doors maybe?
Yeah. So right now we're in the midst of a budget and it's supposed to be done tomorrow, but I don't anticipate us being able to reach that deadline, to be quite honest. And so it's those kinds of things, just having an idea of that, what are we working on, Lansing? Who are my representatives? What do they do for me? I think that's a good entry point for a lot of people, because we just don't pay attention. So my main priorities in that budget process, again, I am the minority vice chair for school aid on the House side, and again, with my background, I am just hyper focused on how we continue to provide the best for our kids and improve on that, because they are our future. And and even adults, anybody who's looking for some kind of push in education to get job skills training, return to college, finish a GED, whatever that is, I think those are the investments that are going to pay off for us in the future, just to invest in our people. And the more we can do that, the better.
Yes, absolutely. And, you do mention how Walker is just so rapidly growing, and maybe to some of your counterparts who are in Lansing, coming from other communities, aren't really seeing this type of boom that we are in West Michigan. How is that? How are you able to kind of...
Yeah, well, I recently participated in a new program at the state level. It's through the Michigan State University. It's through a program at Michigan State University. It's called Michigan Legislative Exchange. And so in that process, I was partnered with a Republican colleague from the north, like from a different area in the state. And he came down, and I took him, to a number of different places throughout the district, and really talked about, what's going on for us here in Grand Rapids, and the feel of Grand Rapids and the area. We have Walker, we visited a number of places. And then I'm going to go visit him and see what his community is like and the needs. And so that's really eye-opening. It was really interesting to see his perspective on our community. And one of the things that he was just floored by is the amount of public collaboration. We do public-private partnerships in the Kent County area really, really well. Yeah. And that isn't something that's replicated across the state. Yeah. And so when colleagues come in and see that, they're always really impressed and wondering, how do you do that? Because there tends to be specific family names on some of our buildings that people associate with one party or another in particular, and then to know that gets set aside to really build up and strengthen our whole community, and that we still come together and do those good works together is something that, like I said, it's special. It doesn't happen everywhere in the state, and it's exciting to see my colleagues wondering about that and how we can maybe do that better and even incentivize that at the state level. Yeah, and
that is a great observation. And what can you tell them just about the people and the makeup of West Michigan, how it differs from other regions of the state?
Yeah, well, I think, keeping in that theme is, I think we have such a history of community philanthropy. And so it's something that's been modeled for us. Not, our biggest earners are deeply invested in this community. And it's not just in one project, right? They're looking at the benefit of the whole. We have we have local sports areas that are supported. The Valley Field project has been supported by philanthropy and the state. The zoo is supported by philanthropy and the state. The soccer stadium, the amphitheater, Van Andel, all of these places, and even mental health is a joint venture between public and private venture here. And so I think that makeup, that idea, like I said, that's been modeled for us to really give back to our community. I mean, we see that everywhere. And so it's always exciting, to bring the community together and see the fruit of that labor.
And that is a great thing to be proud of and be part of, too.
Yeah, right.
And finally, how can folks stay up to date with what's going on in Lansing, what you're up to? Maybe if, I know that you do some public appearances where there are open houses. Where can we stay abreast of that?
Yeah, so my Facebook page is really the best place. And also my website on the state website that I have. And if you're not sure where that's at, just you can go to michigan.gov and then do a search by address for your legislators.
Perfect. Yeah.
And so I do monthly coffee hours. And they kind of rotate between sort of a town hall style where we just have a group of folks that I chat with and give them updates, they ask questions. And then we also occasionally do one-on-one where you just come to the coffee shop and sit down and talk to me. And my staff is always available. So and then if you contact my office, you can be as part of my newsletter. I said, come to my coffee hours, follow the Facebook page to see where we're going to be, what we're up to. And please come out because, like I said, I would just love for everybody to be involved at the level that they, are comfortable with or I know many people feel kind of disconnected from government these days.
Sure.
Come visit me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I really do enjoy meeting with all of my constituents in any place. So happy to do it anytime. And
you make it very easy, so there's no reason not to reach out to Representative Carol Glanville. Well, thank you so much. I know a lot of important things that you're working on. Hopefully you can enjoy some downtime this summer season, but we'll look to see what more you keep doing for us here at the City of Walker. So thank you so much.
And thank you, Nicole. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. And we appreciate you joining us on this Made in Walker episode.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Made in Walker podcast. If you have comments or questions about this podcast, or if you have suggestions for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop us an email at podcast@walker.city. Made in Walker is the official podcast of the City of Walker, Michigan. You can find Made in Walker wherever you get your podcasts.